Hi everyone, I'm back with another Season 8 video and I want to show you a nice strategy how to max out your seasonal reputation board the best way possible. So you can actually farm this here really quick. In fact, I think you could do this in as little as like 1 or 2 hours, especially if you do this in a party with a bit of boosting going on and so on. And you can kind of print resplendent sparks like this. I know a lot of people have trouble getting their mythics, for example, so this might be a really good way for you to do this. Or you can also just like take your main character and giga farm those greater caches here that get as the infinite reward. So every time you fill 72k of this like reward track, you get one of those caches. And they always have one guaranteed ancestral unique and one guaranteed ancestral legendary as well. So you can actually farm a lot of good stuff here, potentially sell on trade, or just use it for yourself, for example. This is actually a pretty insane roll I just got here. But yeah, anyway, the strategy that I'm talking about revolves around Infernal Hordes. And I'll show this off here right now, and this is the Elder Lord strat in Infernal Hordes. So basically you try to get the Elder Lords can now spawn, and more importantly, the Etheric Masses spawn Elder Lords bonuses. And those two together will spawn these bosses, and each of them counts for the reputation board. With the seasonal blessings from the season journey, you can actually spec into this and get 20% extra reputation. So each of those guys is worth 3.6k reputation. And you see here, since the start of the wave, I already got 11,000 of this stuff. And basically, fast forwarding this a little bit, I can get like 30,000 of this reputation in one wave in the later stages of an Infernal Hordes run. So it's actually kind of wild how much of this reputation you can farm. Now, of course, you don't always get this double Elder Lord strategy, but at the end, for example, you also get the bosses here. They also count for the red board. But for example, here at the end, you also get the bosses from the Infernal Hordes. They also count as one of the boss kills here for the red board. So even if you do like 6 waves or 8 waves Infernal Hordes, you can sometimes get these Elder Lords and get a lot of stuff. And in like one single Infernal Horde run, I can get like 2 entire turn ends of the seasonal reputation here. So there's a lot of loot you can get out of that. So this is, for example, from like a farming session I've done here where I just did like an hour or so of Infernal Hordes and I was just opening those caches. And not only do you get like these guaranteed ancestral uniques and legendaries, but you also get a lot of other materials. For example, Veiled Crystals, which is kind of a big shortage right now. Each of those caches gives you like 200 plus or something like that. You also get a bunch of these other materials here. You see it just kind of keeps going up. And on top of this, of course, you get the actual Infernal Horde rewards. Now, those rewards on Infernal Horde itself will be a little bit diminished because Elder Lords is not that crazy for the actual Elder. Usually you want to go for the Hellborn strat or for the Elite stacking strat. But the Elder Lords are okay, and sometimes you get some other nice perks with it. So you get something out of the Infernal Hordes that you already get anyway. You get, for example, the gem fragments there on the opposite side and a bunch of the Scroll of Restoration. But then you can also do like a session like this for an hour and you can actually get a lot of really good stuff here. So I found the strategy to be pretty effective. It's not like the craziest thing out there because just spamming bosses all day long is technically the best, but that gets boring pretty fast. And if you actually want to play the game a little bit, you can do Infernal Hordes like this. And well, how do you get the Infernal Hordes keys? You also get some from the actual season rep progression. So I talked about this earlier. When you make ults, for example, you can, for example, just make the same class of what you're already playing, make a fresh character, get a fresh seasonal board. You just have to do like the first intro quest basically for the season reputation to be unlocked. And then you can get boosted or boost yourself to 60 with Whisper caches. And you can basically start this whole season progression all over again on the same character with the same build. You just set it up with your skills, you move over your items, and that's it. So like this, you can really print those sparks, get a lot of stuff from the previous caches as well, from like, those rank, 1 to 18 unlocks basically. And there's a lot of really good stuff in there. Tons of boss materials, tons of accomplices, and uniques and so on. So this actually allows you to self-sustain these infernal compasses, especially if you do this in a party. So you might want to group up with other people, boost each other, like a character to 60 real quick. That takes like 10 minutes in the pit, for example. And then you can, get started basically, just kind of remaking the same character over and over, getting a fresh seasonal board every time. Or, as I said, just go for the infinite reward here at the end as well. And that's also about it already. So I just wanted to show this off. I think this is pretty good strategy, especially if you're looking for kind of like a nice overall farming session where, you don't just sit in boss rotas all day or you don't want to grind the pit. You also get some decent amount of XP, for example, farming Infernal Hordes, which is not the same as farming XP in the pit, but it's like decent enough at least. So yeah, you can try this out. Let me know how it goes. Otherwise, I'll be back with more videos from Season 8, and I'll see you guys next time.